what's up my writing friends? Welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. I'm Autumn Ashley and today's video is going to be me talking about my stats for Camp NaNo in addition to what I am going to be doing with my project. For those of you who don't know, my goal for Camp NaNo was to journal every day as my main character using my outline. My outline is a 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter structure. My plan was to journal as my main character for all of those chapters, so 27 journal entries in addition to a prologue and an epilogue, and I wanted one day off for a break. With that in mind, I did not write every day. I took several days off in a row. I took several days off throughout the entire month, but I was still able to finish all 27 chapters / journal entries, and I was able to do the prologue and the epilogue. I didn't have a set word count or a page count or anything like that for each journal entry or overall total. I didn't want to worry about any of that. I just strictly journaled as my main character, and it was so fun. After I did all of the journal entries, I actually was curious to see what my word count was. My total word count for Camp NaNo, just strictly journaling as my main character, the 27 chapters journal entries and the prologue and the epilogue, was 25,980 words. I basically did a half nano. I am so proud of that because I wasn't trying, that wasn't my goal. I wasn't stressed out with any of the writing and any of the words that I did, and I did my absolute best to really capture the story and to really capture how my character was feeling in each of those journal entries. Good job, Autumn. Oh yeah. I think that this was a very wise decision, and I feel like it just made me so much closer to this character, and not only Brina, which is the main character of my story, but it really pulled me closer to the other characters, and it really pulled me into the world. Even though it was just straight journaling as my main character, I could see the potential that the world had, and it really pulled me into the story. My original plan was to have Project Brina be told by Brina. I wanted it to be first person, but the more I got into these journal entries and the more I got sucked into the world, I discovered that just specifically from her point of view isn't enough. It's not enough for the story. It's not enough for the world, and it's not enough to give what is happening in this world and these characters justice. I think I'm gonna change it from first person to third person. There are so many other characters in the story that I can't wait to explore and to interrogate them and to figure out why they're so important to the story. Discovering that I'm gonna change, POVs in the story is a huge win. I wouldn't have discovered that first person wouldn't have worked in my story if I didn't do these journal entries. So doing these journal entries actually saved me so much time in the long run, because I'm gonna start my first draft already jumping in and attempting third person. I've actually never written in third person before, so it's going to be interesting, and it's gonna be a really fun exercise to see how that's gonna go. I haven't actually written anything since the end of Camp NaNo. I needed to take a break, and I feel like that break is going to be over very soon. Well, I mean, it has to be. I have a live stream on Thursday, which will probably be before this video goes out. Hopefully by the time you see this video, I actually got my butt in gear and I started writing my first draft or working on my character outlines. That should have probably been done already.
So I pulled all of my notes. I created the document for draft 1. Very excited. Right? I know. I was just like, oh, it's in the making. But I got 46 words after doing all of that.
Doing these journal entries, I discovered so much about her relationships with the other characters that I probably wouldn't have discovered as quickly had I not done these journal entries. I love this story. I love my main character and the other main characters that are eventually going to be in the story and, structured a little bit better. I'm very excited to just dive into their world and figure out exactly what in the world's going on, and is there something bigger that's actually happening. It taught me a lot about my writing, and it taught me a lot about my lifestyle and how I can actually sit down and make time to write. I didn't quite get to the point of journaling and sitting down and writing every day. I feel like in time, it could be something that I could do every day. It definitely didn't feel like a chore. It didn't feel like something that, oh my gosh, I have to sit and write today. I gotta do this journal entry. I never felt like that. And I had told myself that I didn't want to feel that way about ever about writing, and especially doing these journal entries. It was very, I don't want to say time consuming, but I really had to sit and think about these journal entries. Since I wasn't actually writing the story and I was trying to understand my character, they took me a little bit longer to actually write. I was trying to be very detailed, very particular about the things that I was writing, because they weren't just the overall story. It was just specifically what she was doing during that time, or how she thought things were perceived, or how things happened. It really took a lot of time just doing even one journal entry, because I wanted it to be so flippin' detailed. I couldn't just slap something down and then call it a day. I really took my time with these, but because it was so time consuming, I feel like that was in the back of my mind where I'm like, oh man, I know I'm gonna sit down to write. I'm not gonna be able to sit here for an hour and actually think about it. So I'm gonna have to kind of speed it up a little bit. But doing these journal entries and sitting down and having a goal and wanting to reach this goal, it really helped motivate me and keep me motivated. I always had a job to do. There was always something else to do. And I like that. I'm one of those people where I need that kind of structure, and I need that goal. Doing a journal entry every day, those were the minor goals. And the big goal was to do the complete outline and a prologue and an epilogue. And I eventually did it. In the future, if I ever want to do these journal entries again, I don't think I need to do them for as long. If I had done half of the amount of journal entries, or if I only did a couple of weeks of these journal entries, that would have been perfectly fine. Even though I really enjoyed doing these journal entries, I felt like it got a little repetitive kind of towards the end. Not like I was wasting time, because I was still putting effort towards the story and I was still learning so much about my character and the other characters in the story. Maybe in the future I won't strive to do like the entire story, or maybe the entire outline. Maybe if there are some key scenes or problem scenes and I'm not really sure how to go about it, a quick and easy way I think to feel inspired or to maybe work through some of these issues is to do a journal entry on one of the characters. I think that doing these journal entries would be really good at working out and fixing these issues. If I ever did do the journaling again, which I think I will, and I wouldn't be opposed to it if I had to, those would be the reasons why I would do it. I did this for this character and for this project because I felt like I was struggling with understanding the main character. I wanted her to play such a key role in the story. You can't really play a key role in a story or write about somebody who's a key person in a story if you don't know them. So doing these journal entries helped me understand this character and helped me understand the story a bit more and the other characters in the story. I learned so much about these other characters in the story that I definitely wouldn't have learned, or I wouldn't have cleaned up a little bit of their personalities and things like that if I didn't do these journal entries. I loved it. It was so fun. Overall, no complaints. I would totally do it again. Oh, hi. Are you coming to join? Oh. Thank you. Now I want to talk more about the story and where I'm going with it. I already talked about changing it from first person to third person, which I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to dive into the other characters and we can learn more about them and how everybody shapes the world. I think I want to add just like a teeny little splash of a magic system, because right now there wasn't really going to be, but I have an idea. I want to jot it down, think about it, marinate in it, and I think it's going to happen and I'm really excited about it. I already wrote a draft of this story, not the journal entries, but I had actually written a draft 0 of the story. I wrote 50,000 words and then realized I had written myself into a corner. I'm not going to pick back up with that draft. I'm going to start fresh. I'm going to use these journal entries and I want to eventually review that draft 0 that I had created with the story. I don't think I'm going to use any of it. Maybe, but I feel like the story's changed a whole lot since then, so some things might not make sense. I do have those two things as well as my outline, and I've been working on a character outline, so I'm gonna have all of these different kinds of outlines and notes and brainstorming ideas when I actually start writing the first draft. I'm gonna have all of these resources. Where does that leave me? It leaves me with a draft 1 that has to be written. It is my goal to have this first draft completed by the end of Q2. I know that's kind of like a month and a half away. I just want to get like the bare bones, the basics of the story out, and then I can start digging deeper into the world and start hard world building once I get to like the second draft and the other drafts. That's it. That is everything for camp and for my story. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you haven't given a thumbs up already, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel so you can see some more amazing content and follow me on this writing journey. And again, thank you guys so much, and I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.